Hello, very happy to dedicate a video to show you what we have improved and introduced in the 0.23 release of Routine on desktop, and specifically about calendaring, everything calendar, agenda, most specifically, because a lot of things have been changed in that release. So we're going to go through every point so that you understand everything that has changed. So the first thing is that now when you block time, so you drag and drop a task onto your agenda or calendar, you can actually use the tab key to switch through your different calendars so that you don't always block time in your primary or default calendar, but you can actually change and select. So let's take an example with this task. So if I drag it and drop it, now you can see with the blue and the name of the calendar underneath, I can press tab and it's going to actually circle through all the calendars at my disposal. I can drop it, you can see the yellow line here, and likewise I could open it and I would see the yellow line underneath. The same is true here. If I were to create a task, I can do the same here and use tab to circle through all of the available calendars. So very, very handy. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we've allowed to right-click an event and, as you can see, answer the attendance by yes, maybe, no directly in the right-click, which is convenient in particular in the agenda where you don't want to open the event to answer quickly. Another thing that we've changed, which is really important, is what we call working hours. We already had these settings before in preferences. You could set the working hours, but now those preferences really change the behavior of the application. So let me show you. Basically, when now you drag and drop a task onto your agenda, you're going to have the ability to actually put it in between those working hours, as you can see. Nothing else is displayed, and that's a significance in the calendar. Let me explain. Let's say that my working hours are really, I don't know, like 9 a.m. to maybe, I don't know, let's do something crazy, like 4 p.m. Now, if I go to the agenda as I showed you, now you can see got a bit less room and you can see 9 a.m. to 7. Why 7? Because obviously it extended the end working hour because I've got an event that ends there. So that's the first thing. But in the calendar, it is the same. People have been asking for the ability to hide night hours. Well, you can do that by actually shrinking the working hours to the hours that make sense to you. So here you can see 9 a.m. up to actually 11 p.m. because I've got this event. But if this event was not there, it would stop at 7 p.m. And if there was none of those, it would actually shrink to your default working hour, which I think I put 4 p.m., which is a bit drastic, but you get the point. So this allows you to really kind of remove noise in your calendar. Another thing that we have introduced, which we think is really handy, is a sound notification when an event is about to start. As many calendars, you get notified with a reminder 10 minutes before a meeting starts. The problem is that very busy people, I'm sure you are, tend to actually see the notification and then get back to work because 10 minutes, you can still do a lot of things in 10 minutes. So you get back to work and you actually miss the beginning of the meeting. So what we've done is that in the preferences, you can enable or disable the sound reminder, which is going to be a very small sound 1 minute before the event starts. Great for just reminding you that it's now that you need to really get to the meeting. It obviously only works for the events in your agenda. not all of the other ones. So if I remind you, there's a difference between what we call active calendars and passive calendars. Passive are good for planning. They're going to be displayed in the calendar with your active calendars, all of them. But in your agenda, you're only going to see the active ones, because those are the ones where you're really going to attend those events. What else? Now let's talk about specifically the agenda. So we've changed a lot of things in the agenda, which you might not notice at first, which is why I'm going to explain that. But the drag and drop has been improved in many ways. Now you can actually really put it at the border with an event, which was not possible before. Another thing that is possible is that when you've created an allocation, that's how we call it, when you've blocked time in your agenda, before you could only move it within the free space here, but you could not go over an existing event. Now you can put it anywhere you want. Even more, as I'm sure you've seen, you can actually put something in something else. You can drop it in another allocation or in another event, which is true as well for tasks directly. So that's great for moving, let's say, this task in this meeting, because that's something you want to discuss. You just do that. You can see that now this task is part of product meeting. If I open this meeting, I've got the task. So really good for quickly planning by taking a bunch of tasks and putting them in a meeting or in another task, and even blocking time if you want to. That is possible. Now let's talk about something, a bit of a corner case, but still valid, which is multi-days, not all-day events, but events that span multiple days. That's a bit complicated to actually handle. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say you've got an event, maybe it's a conference or maybe it's a very long flight, whatever it is, that goes something like this. I know it's unusual, but it's possible. Now this so in the calendar it's shown like this, but in the agenda it would have been shown as an event taking the whole day, every day. So it's going to basically conflict with all the other events, and it's not very useful on a daily basis to see that. So in the calendar, we're not changing anything, because we think that if you've created it this way and not as an all-day event, there is a reason, so we prefer to show it like this. However, in the agenda, we decided to show it as kind of a virtual all-day event. So what does that mean? It means that on the day that it starts, which is yesterday, it's going to show as a normal event from 1 p.m. until for 11 hours, so until the end of the day. On days that are in between the boundaries, which is the first or the last day, it's going to show as a virtual all-day event. And on the last day, same thing is going to show from midnight until the end. Okay? So that's good, we think, because it's a good compromise between not polluting your agenda. At the same time, the boundaries are probably important if you've got to maybe catch a flight or something like this, and the all-day event would not really convey the information that it's starting at that specific time. Now let's talk about the calendar. So something that has been requested is the ability to zoom in and out. So we've done this with those buttons. It's not perfect. You can zoom in fairly easily, takes more space. Usually people are more interested into the opposite, which is zooming out, this is the default. You can zoom out once more. So it's more compact. So here you see I can't even scroll because my working hours are 9 to 11 p.m. because it has been extended because of that event. And so I've got my whole week, I don't even have to scroll, which is good. However, you can see that sometimes it's a bit hard to read. So we're probably going to improve this by reducing the font in that case. You can even go one more level, but then it becomes really complicated to see, as you can see. We might tweak that as we go along, don't worry, but it's just to give you the ability, if you want, to really zoom in and out. Another thing that we fixed is the ghost here when dragging to create an old event. Before, we wouldn't be seeing the ghost, which was a bit annoying. Something else that we've done is, let me remove this, is the HTML description, which now is being displayed, even though it's a full HTML. You can edit it as pure HTML, so not very easy to do if you don't know how, but at least to consume, which is to see, you can read it, it's readable. Or something else that we've done is the draft. So what do I mean? When you create an event, you've got a draft here, let's say blah blah, that's an event. You might actually want to move it around, and before it was complicated because it actually disappeared. Now you can, it's fairly easy, so that's good. Another thing, we had a bug where the location could not be unset, which is basically emptied. We fixed that. And the final thing is now you've got the week number here, which is good because some people want to know which week it was. It's now displayed exactly here, so you know. That's it, I think, for everything calendar, which I think is quite a lot. I hope that you will like it. In particular, a lot of polishing has been done. There is still a lot to do. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Thanks.